To investigate the rumored coup, Stephenson sent one of his brightest young officers to Bolivia. This was Montgomery Hyde, who arrived in the Bolivian capital La Paz with just one contact, a British railway manager. Through him, Hyde met a Bolivian, never named, who agreed that he had heard rumors of this impending coup, but that was it. He had no leads. Indeed, Hyde was unable to find anything to shed light on who was behind this plot, when and how it was going to happen, or if it even existed. Aged just 33, Hyde was a combustible blend of ambition, intellect, and a bustling imagination. In peacetime, he had been a barrister and would later become a prolific author and conservative politician. As he threw himself around La Paz in search of clues, no doubt feeling the effects of the high altitude, a wild idea formed in his mind. Hyde arranged to see his Bolivian contact again. He asked how this Nazi coup might play out. The two of them agreed that it would no doubt begin with a senior Bolivian diplomat in Germany, perhaps Major Elias Belmonte, the country's military attaché in Berlin and a fervent pro-Nazi, sending plans for the overthrow of the Bolivian government to his fellow plotters in La Paz. He would probably send these plans to the German legation in Bolivia, most likely in a sealed diplomatic bag. Why not anticipate this development by fabricating the kind of letter Belmonte would be expected to write, Hyde wondered to himself, without pausing to consider the answer, and give it the maximum publicity. Excited by his idea, Hyde flew back to New York and presented it to his boss. Those who worked with Stephenson sensed that he enjoyed big decisions and had a refusal to be either hurried or harried, nor was he afraid of risk. He was quite ruthless when he came up against a situation where it was necessary to take very great measures, his deputy later said. This was one of them. Rather than being asked to sign off on a fake story about an imaginary British parachute raid, like the one at Berck-sur-Mer, a member of his staff wanted him to sanction a forgery that could easily finish his career as MI6 head of station in the US. But if this forgery worked, in the sense that it was accepted as real and widely publicized, it might help to bring the United States closer to war. Most polls continued to show that the majority of Americans did not think their country should declare war on Nazi Germany, but if the question was adjusted to include German meddling in South America, the result was transformed. When a special Gallup survey asked in May 1941, if Brazil, Argentina, Chile, or any other Central or South American country is actually attacked by any European power, do you think the United States should fight to keep that European power out? 81% of those surveyed said yes. The American people felt differently towards Latin America and had a more sensitive and at times proprietorial relationship with their southern neighbors. The same was true of Roosevelt's administration. Since the start of the war, in almost every meeting of the Joint Planning Committee of the US, War, Navy, and State Departments, the first item on the agenda had concerned Latin America. Roosevelt had recently asked the military to draw up a plan for sending an expeditionary force south in the event of a Nazi-backed coup in a country like Bolivia. Stephenson understood the possible effect of this story about a Nazi plot in Bolivia. The idea of Germans meddling in Latin America was offensive to most Americans, and there was even a chance it could lead to a nationwide call for war, as a similar story had helped to do just over 24 years ago. In early 1917, the British intercepted and decoded a genuine cable from the German Foreign Secretary, Arthur Zimmermann, which had been sent to the German ambassador in Mexico. This telegram revealed the existence of a German plot to form an alliance with Mexico and Japan and attack the United States. The British passed this to the Americans, it was publicized, and became known as the Zimmermann telegram. Today, this is seen as the catalyst to America's entry into the First World War. More than any other incident, the Zimmermann telegram destroyed President Wilson's resolve to stay out of the conflict. The fake letter from Major Belmonte, which Hyde had just proposed, could have a similar effect. But was anyone in Stephenson's office even capable of producing it? How would they choose the wording of this imaginary letter? Where would the paper come from? What typewriter to use? Who could fake the